Welcome to Ear to the Streets, where we'll be looking at some creepy and interesting TikToks that might just change your perspective on reality.
And of course he's from
I don't know. He's wearing a brown.
So this was a woman that said this something had took her dogs or took her animals, and she put a trail cam in the backyard and got this image. Oh boy.
His camera phone out of the cockpit window and watch this as he zooms in. A metallic-looking object, a polyhedron of some sort, whizzes by in a straight line. We slow it down and zoom in further. You can see it kind of looks like a cube.
It has these kind of little points that stick out.
And it's mostly just a big ball of lava. That's Earth. But 10,000 feet is not a big deal.
Have you given any consideration whatsoever to the flat Earth movement?
Haha. I think that's a troll situation.
Oh, it's not. No, it's not. You would like to think that because you're a super genius. But I, as a normal person, I know there's people way dumber than me. And they really, really believe. They watch YouTube videos which go on uninterrupted and spew out a bunch of fucking fake facts very eloquently and articulately. And they really believe. These people really believe.
I mean, if it works for them, sure. Fine.
It's weird though, right?
Reptilians really came into control and started to be able to manipulate what was going on the face of the planet about 6,000 to 7,000 years ago. It is true that they have different masking technologies to be able to be in a room and look like a human, but usually they're in underground bases in various places on the globe, as well as in a huge area in Antarctica. The southeast region has a large number of underground caverns that are kept extremely warm, too warm for humans, by geothermal heat. It's a perfect place for all of these colonies that the reptilians have. They're basically cities, huge cities with millions of them.
Have you ever seen face-to-face an alien being?
Yes, I have. This ET I'm talking about is probably about 4 to 5 feet tall. At first I thought it was a deer on its hind legs looking at me. And it had deer-like eyes. And I was up on this mountain outside Boone, North Carolina, up in the mountains. I didn't know what the heck was going on. And it came over and touched my right shoulder so firmly I could see the indentation. And with that, there was an electromagnetic field. All my hair stood on. It's when I had hair. And all my hair stood on end. And it was this amazing event that happened with this being. You know, it was not at all frightening to me. It was beautiful.
We're not alone. We are not alone in this universe, and it is a simple fact. And the U.S. government has been aware of that fact now for decades. The United States has been involved in the recovery of objects, vehicles of unknown origin that are neither from our country or any other foreign country that we're aware of. We as a nation have been interested in not only the vehicles themselves, but the occupants of these vehicles, to include biological specimens.
What's a coincidence that you think about a lot? I'll go first.
I think a lot about the time that kid drove 200 miles to Buffalo to pew-pew a bunch of people in a grocery store because he was such a racist he had to drive all the way to Buffalo to do it. And one of those people turned out to be Aaron Salter Jr., an inventor who created the world's first water-powered car and was featured on the local news in Buffalo 2 months before the shooting. A man who created this world-changing revolutionary item, unalived by some random kid who drove 200 miles to do his crimes. I think about that a lot.
There's a U.S. Marine that's going on trial against Congress talking about how he's seen UFOs abducting humans, but the UFOs weren't aliens, they were humans abducting other humans.
What?
Yo.
In the actual
bro,
going on?
it was a named Michael Hara, and it was in 2009. Like, he had to go do like an Overwatch mission in Indonesia because it was a natural disaster, like a hurricane. So he was over there just making sure the land was good.
Yeah.
And then I guess he was in the jungle, and he seen like a UFO like hovering over in the jungle, picking up people. And then he seen like U.S. trucks. Like, he wasn't supposed to be over there. Like, he just wandered off. And then he said like a week or two later, like some unnamed government officials came in. Like, he said these people did not have no name tags, and they was like, yo, you cannot speak about this to your general, can't speak about this to your family, can't speak about this to your platoon, your group. If so, you can get put in prison or they will execute you.
Watch these two separate events, and you tell me if they are the same.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
I'm gonna be real. I think these are just drones. Like, you know how people have those drone shows where they're putting like Santa Clauses and objects. I don't think that this is UFOs. If this is UFOs, I've never seen square UFOs before. Maybe they're diamonds.
Bro, what the what? Why isn't my phone focusing?
That they're seen in various other places the same day. I know that could explain. Bro, it's cold.
What do you think?
Do you believe?
Oh my god. There's two. Oh, I got one. Oh!
You see that? Yup. Bro. Cuz what is going on, bro? Bro, that is a whole UFO, bro.
It could just be like a secret military aircraft or something like that. The government has a lot of different aircrafts that you've probably never seen before.
It's not right.
And
so when does the AI empire start, do you think?
You're asking increasingly more complicated questions. To answer them, you need to be an expert in big numbers, big data, and AI. Mankind is currently facing many threats. Due to the genetic researches, it is now possible to create a superhuman, a specialized human being, a genetically engineered athlete, scientist, military man. There are reports that Elon Musk had already had a chip implanted in the human brain in the USA.
What do you think of that?
I think there's no stopping Elon Musk. He will do as he sees fit. Nevertheless, you need to find some common ground with him. Search for ways to persuade him. I think he's a smart person. I truly believe he is. So you need to reach an agreement with him because this process needs to be formalized and subjected to certain rules. Humanity has to consider what is going to happen due to the newest development in genetics or in AI. One can make an approximate prediction of what will happen. Once mankind felt an existential threat coming from nuclear weapons, all nuclear nations began to come to terms with one another since they realized the negligent use of nuclear weaponry could drive humanity to extinction. It is impossible to stop research in genetics or AI today, just as it was impossible to stop the use of gunpowder back in the day. But as soon as we realize that the threat comes from unbridled and uncontrolled development of AI, or genetics, or any other field, the time will come to reach an international agreement on how to regulate these things.
Okay, yes, we are bored. We're all bored now. But has it ever occurred to you, Wally, that the process that creates this boredom that we see in the world now may very well be a self-perpetuating, unconscious form of brainwashing created by a world totalitarian government based on money, and that all of this is much more dangerous than one thinks? And it's not just a question of individual survival, Wally, but that somebody who's bored is asleep, and somebody who's healthy is represented the last on the planet.
Imagine you're walking on planet Earth and you pass by someone and you say, hey, can you point me in the direction of north? I want to walk in the northward direction. But when you get to the North Pole and talk to somebody there and say, hey, how do I go further north? They look at you and say, whoa, that question doesn't mean anything because this is where north begins. There's no notion of going further north than the North Pole. And it could be that that spatial metaphor applies to time. Talk about 1 billion years ago or 10 billion years ago, but if you go to 13.8 billion years ago, the Big Bang, that may be where time started. And you can't go further back in time than the very origin of time itself.
I'll just give you one example. If you go to McDonald's, anywhere in the world, you will find French fries, or chips as you call them, and you will find that they're always made from the same potato, the russet Burbank potato. This is a potato from America that's unusually long and difficult to grow, but that's what they want, because when you're McDonald's, you like those red boxes with a little bouquet of very long chips. It looks really good, and so they insist that all their potatoes be russet Burbanks, and they further insist that they have no blemishes at all. There's a very common defect of russet Burbank potatoes called net necrosis, and you've seen potatoes with a little brown line sometimes, or spots that come through it. Well, McDonald's won't buy them if your potatoes have that, and the only way to eliminate that is to eliminate an aphid. And the only way to do that is with a pesticide called Monitor that is so toxic that the farmers who grow these potatoes in Idaho won't venture outside into their fields for 5 days after they spray. And then when they harvest their potatoes, they have to put them in these atmosphere-controlled sheds the size of a football stadium because they're not edible for 6 weeks. They have to off-gas all the chemicals in them. So you see, the desire for a certain kind of chip leads to a certain kind of agriculture.
I don't know about y'all, but I haven't had McDonald's in so long. I think the last time I went to McDonald's, they made the meal late, right? So I had to go wait in a line to get the meal. And then it was raw. So like ever since then, I've never gone back to McDonald's. Even when I get hungry and drive by and you smell McDonald's, nope, just go get you like a parfait or something like that, or maybe like some mixed peanuts, and you won't want McDonald's. What is going on here? Like, what is going on? I just, like, that looks like the Statue of Liberty in a criminal suit in a parade. the celebration being epic. America, it's time everyone wake up.
Can I blow your mind real quick? Okay, so the word dinosaur comes from... Chris is leaving because we've been fighting about this all day. Go. So the word dinosaur comes from two Greek words, okay? Deinos, which means terrible, and sauros, which means lizard. Okay? Now, dinosaurs lived hundreds of millions of years ago, apparently. And the Greek language is only 5,000 years old. Let that sink in. So either there were Greek people around 100 million years ago, or there were dinosaurs 5,000 years ago. And if you want to go down this and you can look this up, if you want to go down this rabbit hole with me, you start to ask questions like, well, how did they build the pyramids? How did they move giant rocks through the desert? Well, what could pull a giant rock?
Singers, when they sing songs, it's like a mantra. When you repeat a chorus over and over and over. So when a kid hears a song and he starts singing that chorus over and over and over, then you start to hear it in the alpha state into the subconscious mind. So you start to become the song or become what you're saying.
This gigantic sea creature that the Bible warned us about was just spotted on Google Earth. In Isaiah 27:1, the Bible details about a giant serpent sea creature named Leviathan that will continue to roam the sea until the end-time judgment of God. God also tells us in Job 41 that this creature is untamable, frightening to look at, undefeatable with any weapon, and can only be destroyed by God himself. Now here's where it starts to get very creepy. Recently, people started noticing on Google Earth that a large formation of what looked like a giant sea creature started appearing and actually displaying movement. On top of this, an anomaly bigger than ever reported before was being detected, sending off mass alerts, which was leading many to believe that some giant sea creature in the earth was awakened. Strange activity was also being reported from other sea creatures, as massive amounts of whales were swimming to the shores, unaliving themselves due to some unknown fear. As the biblical end times are approaching, strange activity is going to continue to occur because God is allowing this so his people would wake up and repent to his only son, Jesus Christ. The Bible spoke about these events long ago, and this is God's final warning before immense judgment is poured out on the entire world.
The fuck is that? The fuck is that in the woods?
On the move.
Hello? Hello?
Oh, it was a mountain lion at first.
In my mom's closet, we heard a hollow spot in the floor. So we ripped up the carpet and found an orange door. Which led to a safe in the ground. Now all we have to do is figure out a code.
Give me that scoop.
Things humans weren't meant to see. A man traveled to Egypt and placed a remote-controlled car inside one of the pyramids. The original poster claimed to have found something the government would want to keep a secret. He also wanted to be paid $5 million for the rest of the footage to be revealed, but it never did. As it gets deeper, it shows what appears to be a tall figure inside the chambers.
Well, everyone, that was today's video. If you like these compilations, then feel free to like and subscribe to the channel. If you have anything you want to say, leave it in the comments. And as always, check back week after week, because I think I got a good setup now to where we'll be doing more reaction videos. So stay tuned.